There's a conversation happening about you right now. Not with you, but about you. Someone who has decision making power over your career is looking at your LinkedIn profile and forming a view, an opinion. You don't know who it is. You don't know what they are thinking. You have absolutely no idea this is even happening. And here's the part your manager will never ever tell you, the view they are forming. It probably isn't that good. Not because you are not capable, not because you have not delivered, because your profile is telling a story about you that you never agreed to tell. And I want to show you how to change that. Give me 8 minutes. What I'm about to say, nobody in your organization will say to your face. I'm going to describe something, and I want you to tell me, honestly, if this sounds familiar. You open your LinkedIn profile, you look at it for about 45 seconds. Something feels off. You can't quite name it, and you just close it. Not because nothing needs fixing, because everything does, and you don't know where to start. So you tell yourself, later, and later becomes a month, and a month becomes a year, and the profile just sits there. Here's what you don't know is happening while it sits there. Every time an opportunity stirs in your organization, a role, a project, a visibility assignment, someone upstream pulls up your profile, not to evaluate you formally, just to get a feel. And they spend, on average, 90 seconds on it. In those 90 seconds, they are not reading every word, they are scanning for one thing. Does this person look like someone who is already thinking at the next level? I have watched this moment from the other side more times than I can count. And I can tell you exactly what they find on a profile that has not been touched for 2 years. It's not nothing, it's a signal. And the signal is not ready. That judgment may be completely be wrong about who you are. It does not matter. It's a judgment that gets made. And you need to know it is happening. Because what comes next is a part most people never ever find out. Why do smart, capable professionals, people who are meticulous about their work, leave something like this important completely unattended? I've asked that question a lot, and the answers are always some version of three things. Here's where it gets interesting. I want to walk you through the three reasons people give for not fixing their LinkedIn profile. And I want to be honest with you. Every single one of them sounds completely reasonable. That's what makes them dangerous. The first one, you don't have time. And here's the thing, I believe you. Your calendar is real. The demands of your workday are real. The idea of sitting down to rewrite your about section at 9 o'clock on a Tuesday night while three urgent things are pending, I get it. But here's what I have noticed over 30 years watching professionals navigate this exact tension. The people who say they don't have time for their career always find time for their career. The moment something goes wrong, the moment they are passed over, the moment the role they wanted goes to someone else. Suddenly, the LinkedIn profile gets updated. Suddenly, there's time. The question is not whether you have the time or not. The question is whether you are going to wait for the moment that forces you. The second one, and this is the one I find most fascinating. You don't want to seem like you are showing off. You have spent years building a reputation as someone who lets the work speak. Serious professionals don't broadcast themselves. I want you to hold that belief for a second because it's not wrong. Loud self promotion is exhausting. People who spend all their time talking about themselves and none of it delivering, everyone sees through that. You are right to want nothing to do with it. But here's the thing nobody tells you, there's a version of visibility that has nothing to do with self promotion. It is simply making it easy for people to understand what you bring before they have to take your word for it. That is not showing off, that is professional communication. And the distinction matters more than most people ever realize. The professionals who get pulled into conversations they didn't expect, they are not louder than you, they are clearer than you. There's a difference. Now, the third excuse. This is the one I want you to pay particular attention to because it is the most widespread career limiting belief I have ever encountered. And it is dressed up as integrity. Your work speaks for itself. I understand why you believe this. It was probably true for a long time. Work hard, deliver, the right people will notice, move forward. That model works until it does not. Because at a certain level in your career, the people making decisions about your next steps are not the people who see your work every day. They are in a different room altogether with a very different picture of you. And the picture they are working from is not your output, it's your profile, a headline, a photo, a few lines of text, and 90 seconds of gut feeling. Your work is not in that room. Your work cannot speak for itself in a room it has never entered. The professionals who get moved forward, they figured out how to send their work upstream before they walked into the room themselves. That is the shift, and most people never make it. Let me show you what a profile that moves conversation forward actually looks like. Three things in order. Start with the first one. Don't skip to the third. Your headline right now almost certainly states your job title. I understand why. It's what the field is called. It what feels accurate. But accurate and effective are not the same thing. Your job title tells someone where you have been placed. A headline, a real one, tells someone what you bring to whatever comes next. A supply chain director I worked with had supply chain director FMCG as his headline. We changed it to helping consumer brands stop losing margin at the last mile. He told me 2 weeks later that someone 3 levels above him had commented on a post of his for the first time in 5 years. Same person, same role, different signal entirely. Your About section. If you have one, probably it reads like a performance review you wrote about yourself. Results oriented leader with a proven track record of. No one has ever read that sentence and thought, I need to meet this person. Here's what actually creates that feeling. Writing about how you think, not what have you done. How you think. One thing you have learned in your domain that took you years to understand. One thing something went wrong and what it permanently changed about how you work. One belief you hold on about your field that not everyone agrees with. That kind of about section does something a list of achievements just cannot. It makes you recognizable as a person, not just as a professional. And that is what makes someone in a senior conversation say, I want to know more about this person. And the third one, this is the one people push back on most. So let me tell you something before I say it. I had a client, a senior engineering leader, 15 years in, deeply respected in the organization. When I told him what I am about to tell you, he looked at me and said, that feels like vanity. 6 months later, he told me it was the single highest leverage thing he had ever done in his career. You need to post on LinkedIn, not every day, not to build a following, not to become an influencer either. Once a week, one thing, one idea from your work, one observation from your week, one question you are genuinely sitting on. Here's why it matters in a way most people don't expect. When a decision maker lands on your profile and your last post was 14 months ago, they don't think this person is too busy to post. They think this person has nothing to say at the next level. That is the conclusion every time, and it is entirely reversible. Starting with one post this week, stop for a second, run all three of those against your own profile right now. Your headline, Does it position you forward or does it just file you? Your about section, does it sound like a human or a template? Your activity feed, does it show that you have a point of view or not? Hold those three questions because the next part is where they become or they come together. Remember what I said at the very start. There's a conversation happening about you right now. Someone upstream is looking at your profile, forming a view in 90 seconds. Here's what I want you to understand about that moment. You cannot control who looks. You cannot control when they look. You cannot control the room they are sitting in or the decision they are having or they are about to make. But you can control what they find. A headline that positions you at the next level, not at the level you are at. An about section that makes you sound like someone worth a conversation, not someone worth a filing. An activity feed that proves you have something to say before anyone has to ask. Clarity about what you bring, confidence in how you say it, communication that reaches people who will never work alongside you. That is the whole shift. And the version of you that already exists, the thinker, the operator, the professional, they deserve to be seen. Not just by the people who sit near you, by the people who decide what comes next. Here's what I want you to do before the video ends. Open your LinkedIn profile, read your headline. One question: does this tell someone why I belong at the next level? Or does it just confirm where I have been? If it confirms where you have been, change it. Not this weekend, today. That one change starts something. And if you want help going deeper, understanding not just the profile, but what specifically is in the way of your next step, I run a free career acceleration masterclass for people who'd like to move forward. No pitch, just an honest conversation. The link is in the description. I have had this webinar with a lot of people over the years. Some of them walked away and did something with it. Some did not. The ones who did, I can tell you exactly where they are now. Subscribe, and I will see you next week.